This is Put a Finger Down People Pleaser Edition. If you have 14 or more fingers down by the end of this video, then you are a people pleaser. Put a finger down if you hang out with friends even when you have homework or other important stuff to take care of. Put a finger down if you've ever felt guilty for setting boundaries with friends or family. Put a finger down if you've ever apologized excessively even when you weren't at fault to avoid conflict. Put a finger down if you've agreed with someone's opinion just to avoid an argument even if you disagreed. Put a finger down if you've taken on more responsibilities than you can handle because you couldn't say no. Put a finger down if you've changed your plans or preferences to match someone else's. Put a finger down if you would lend someone money even if you don't know them. Put a finger down if you're afraid to pick where to hang out because you're afraid people won't like what you pick. Put a finger down if you would call or text someone super late even though you have to wake up super early. Put a finger down if you've ever said yes even when you wanted to say no just to please someone. Put a finger down if you would lie just so people won't get mad at you. Put a finger down if you would invite someone to your party even if you don't know them very well but other people like them. Put a finger down if you've smiled and nodded along with a conversation even when you had no idea what the other person was talking about. Put a finger down if you've apologized multiple times in a single conversation even for the things that didn't warrant an apology. Put a finger down if you've ever bought a gift for someone that you couldn't afford just to impress them. Put a finger down if you've held back your opinion in a group discussion because you were worried it might upset someone. Put a finger down if you agreed to do a task at work that wasn't your responsibility just because your colleague asked. Put a finger down if you've said "I'm fine" when someone asked how you were even when you weren't fine. Put a finger down if you've taken the blame for something you didn't do to protect someone else from getting in trouble. Put a finger down if you've gone along with group's choice for a restaurant or activity even if it wasn't what you wanted. Put a finger down if you were hesitant to share your accomplishments with people because you were afraid it would make other people feel inferior. Put a finger down if you've continued a conversation you had no interest in just to avoid an awkward silence. Put a finger down if you've skipped a meal or eaten something you didn't like because someone else insisted on it. Put a finger down if you've stayed in a toxic friendship or relationship because you didn't want to hurt the other person's feelings. Put a finger down if you've agreed to take on a project at last minute even though it meant sacrificing your own plans. Put a finger down if you offered someone to help them move knowing that you were exhausted and had your own commitments. Put a finger down if you've laughed at a joke you didn't find funny just to make the person telling it feel better. Put a finger down if you've changed your outfit before an event because someone made a negative comment about your original choice. Put a finger down if you've gone out of your way to make someone happy, even if it made you unhappy. Put a finger down if you've ever felt anxious about disappointing others or being rejected because you stood up for yourself. Put a finger down if you've kept quiet about something that bothered you to avoid upsetting someone. Put a finger down if you felt like your self-worth is tied to how much you can do for others. Put a finger down if you've ever struggled to say no to authority figures like bosses or teachers. Put a finger down if you've accepted blame for a group mistake even though you weren't involved just to keep the peace. Put a finger down if you felt exhausted from constantly putting other people's needs ahead of your own. Put a finger down if you've stayed quiet while receiving incorrect change or wrong order just to avoid causing trouble. Put a finger down if you've taken on extra chores or responsibilities at home just to avoid conflict with family members. Put a finger down if you found it hard to ask for help because you didn't want to burden others. Put a finger down if you've continued doing a task at work that you despise because you were afraid of disappointing your boss. Put a finger down if you've suppressed your emotions and put on a happy face even when you were feeling down. Put a finger down if you've offered to pay for a friend's meal even though it strained your budget. Put a finger down if you've let someone cut in line or take your seat simply because they seemed more insistent. Put a finger down if you've agreed to share something personal about yourself even though you didn't want to just to fit in. Put a finger down if you neglected your hobbies or interests to do something else that someone else wanted to do. Put a finger down if you've given up your preference for a movie or a show choice during a group watch to please others. Put a finger down if you've replied instantly to a message even when you were busy because you didn't want the other person to feel ignored. Put a finger down if you've skipped expressing your dietary restrictions at a gathering even if it meant eating something that could harm your health. Put a finger down if you gave up your seat on a public transportation to someone who didn't need it just because they asked. Put a finger down if you spent hours helping someone with a task that they could have easily managed on their own. Put a finger down if you've let a friend borrow something important knowing that they might not return it in the same condition. Put a finger down if you've kept quiet about an unfair treatment from a service provider because you didn't want to seem difficult. Put a finger down if you've pretended to like a specific genre of music or certain activity just to bond with someone. Put a finger down if you've helped a coworker with their work while you're piled up because you didn't want to refuse. Put a finger down if you've ever laughed off an offensive comment to avoid an uncomfortable confrontation. Put a finger down if you've taken on extra shifts or hours at work to accommodate a colleague's request at the expense of your own time. Put a finger down if you've let someone borrow your car even though you needed it just to avoid saying no. Put a finger down if you've downplayed your achievements to avoid making other people feel inadequate. Put a finger down if you agreed to babysit last minute, disrupting your own plans just because you couldn't refuse. Put a finger down if you've tolerated disrespectful behavior from a friend, afraid that confronting them would end your friendship with them. Put a finger down if you participated in a gift exchange that stretched your budget just to meet other people's expectations. Put a finger down if you've skipped speaking up in a meeting even though you had valuable insights because you didn't want to stand out. Put a finger down if you have ever let someone else take a decision for you even though you had a strong preference. Put a finger down if you've ever allowed someone to take credit for your ideas to avoid appearing confrontational. Put a finger down if you've agreed to participate in a dare or challenge that made you uncomfortable just to fit in. Put a finger down if you've put in extra effort to make someone's experience enjoyable even when it inconvenienced you. How many fingers did you put down? Let us know in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching. For more fun videos, subscribe to Quizit.